This is Coffee Cruise, conversations for the road ahead. Grab your coffee, buckle up, and let's cruise. Hey, friends. Welcome back to Coffee Cruise. And if you're listening on Sunday, our favorite day to drop our new episodes, then happy Easter. I hope you're having a beautiful day, celebrating whatever way you do, whether that's with family, friends, whatever traditions you have, or even if it's just a slow morning with a really good cup of coffee. So today's episode was actually inspired by one of those moments when you're driving and you just have random thoughts hit you. You know, like you're sipping your iced coffee, lost in your own thoughts a little bit. That was me. I was just out cruising, thinking about Easter and all the fun traditions that we had growing up, reminiscing about driving down my grandparents' neighborhood and trying to get a sneak peek into the backyard so I could scope out all the eggs first. Thinking about the times my parents hid the little chocolate eggs inside the house for us to have hunts when it rained outside. The Easter baskets that they would leave us, and one of my favorites was one year, I think I was probably 8, my sister was 6, and we woke up and we had a new Disney movie, was Page Master, I remember that. We had juice boxes and we had some sort of Easter treat for breakfast and candy and all that. And we thought it was the coolest thing. We woke up early before everybody. We put the movie in, we watched it, we ate our breakfast and candy, all while my parents slept in the entire time. Like, that's pretty genius. If I had a parent hack, there we go. Anyways, today's episode was inspired by all of that. Just kind of out thinking, where did these egg hunts, the baskets, the candy, all of it, where did it all come from? Why is there an Easter bunny that brings us eggs? So it got me wondering, does everybody celebrate like this, or is this just our version of it? So today, we're going to take the long way through it, breaking down where these traditions come from and how they evolved, what Easter looks like around the world. Trust me, it gets a little weird and a lot interesting, and it definitely has me going down a rabbit hole. Okay, let's start with the egg, because that one kind of makes sense. Eggs have symbolized new life, growth, and fresh starts for thousands of years. If you think about it, springtime, everything's blooming again, we have longer days and warmer weather. And so the egg became this universal symbol of something new is beginning. And historically, people even used to decorate eggs as part of seasonal celebrations, sometimes with bright colors, sometimes with very intricate designs. However, over time, that turned into what we do now. Egg hunts, dyed eggs, plastic eggs filled with candy, eggs, eggs, eggs. But let's dress the bunny in the yard, because bunnies don't lay eggs. Where did this come from? I had to do a little digging and some research, and come to find out that the tradition actually traces back to Germany, where there was a legend about an Easter hare, a magical bunny that would leave decorated eggs for children. And I guess kids would build little nests for the bunny to leave gifts. It's basically the early version of today's Easter baskets. But when German immigrants came to America in the 1700s, they brought that tradition with them. But if you think about it, rabbits do represent spring in a way. They're everywhere this time of year, super energetic, associated with growth and new beginnings, and So, while it's random, I guess it's kind of perfect. But here in the US, we've turned this into a full-blown experience. We've got egg hunts, baskets, chocolate, everything. And yes, people dressing up as giant bunnies. If you stop to think about that for a minute, it's actually quite comical. But one of the coolest traditions that I came across traced back to the 1800s. And President Hayes had a White House egg roll. And that's been happening, like I said, since the 1800s. It's still happening today. I guess kids roll eggs across the lawn, race them, play games. I had no clue that this was going on. It sounds so wholesome, but chaotic, and it's actually kind of adorable. So I'm going to see if I can find out more about that this year. But if we go around and look at some other global traditions, it gets pretty interesting and really fun. Different countries celebrate in ways that are so random that it's amazing. So in Australia, they actually don't love rabbits. Rabbits are pests. They're very destructive in Australia. So they don't celebrate with the rabbit. Instead, they have an Easter bilby. That's right, not an Easter bunny. Now, if you ask anybody in Australia, they're probably going to tell you that a bilby is a cute little native animal and they're just trying to protect it. But if you look it up, ooh, it really looks like a mouse and a bunny, You know what I'm saying, right? It's, not pretty. I think they're slightly hideous. Can you imagine, like, getting an Easter chocolate bilby in your Easter basket instead of a cute little bunny? But apparently, it's a cute little bilby. Or, like, a stuffed bilby, like a stuffed animal bilby. That doesn't seem cute to cuddle with. You have to Google it. Please, stop right now. Stop what you're doing and look up what a bilby is. And then tell me that you don't think it's a little cringe. Okay, let's move on. So Norway. This one actually kind of blew my mind. And I think that I might actually like it because it sounds like Easter is basically crime weekend, like full-on murder mystery vibes. So from what I could find out, it actually started as a book marketing stunt in the 1920s. And now it's like a whole tradition where people go to cabins, they drink coffee, and read or watch crime stories all weekend. Like even their milk cartons have printed short detective stories for families to solve during breakfast. Kind of makes my morning coffee feel very boring. But tell me that's not the most unexpected tradition ever. Okay, let's go to another fun one. And this is a wild one. So, one of the most famous traditions in Florence, Italy, is called Scoppio del Carro. And that basically means the explosion of the cart. And it's a giant decorated cart packed with fireworks. And there's a mechanical dove, not really sure why it's a dove, but a mechanical dove that gets lit inside the cathedral. And it flies down a wire and ignites the cart outside. If everything explodes perfectly, then it's believed to bring good luck for the year. So just imagine going to church and ending with full fireworks show. Sounds amazing. And from what I've researched, I also know that the food is the main event. I mean, that's pretty common in most cultures, I think, but Eastern Italy is less about baskets and more about massive all-day family meal. There's lots of different staples that they have, lamb dishes, egg-based dishes. They even have a dove-shaped sweetbread. Oh, and of course, we can't forget, they have wine flowing all day. It's not a quick dinner. It's a lingering multi-course experience with family, and that sounds phenomenal to me. Also, instead of small candy eggs, Italians go big. I'm talking huge, beautifully wrapped chocolate eggs. Inside, a surprise gift. Sometimes it's jewelry or toys. So it's kind of like, a Kinder Egg, but on steroids, with some extravagant gifts inside. I could definitely get used to that. There is no Easter bunny culture. So unlike the US, Italy doesn't really do the Easter bunny. It doesn't focus on egg hunts, and it's more just about family, food, faith tradition, and the shared experiences. There's also Paschetta. Now, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Could be Pasquetta. I'm not sure. If you're Italian, please correct me. Anyways, that's the day after, and it literally means Little Easter. So, everyone heads outside, and they have picnics, hikes, and countryside trips. Just think of it like leftovers, sunshine, a beautiful day with friends. It's basically Italy saying, okay, now let's relax. Let's go do something fun. Let's just enjoy the beautiful weather. So leave it to Italy to turn Easter into a full-blown food festival with fireworks and chocolate eggs, big enough that they need their own suitcase. It kind of sounds like the 4th of July. I love it. Okay, so another tradition that I found pretty interesting is Easter in Bermuda. It's again not all about chocolate and Easter bunny, but what it is there's kite flying for the main event. So just imagine, on Good Friday, the skies in Bermuda fill with bright geometric kites. Families head to the beaches, open fields, kids and adults fly handmade kites. Some even compete to see whose kite flies the highest. So it's not just a cute activity, it's the centerpiece of Easter there. But why kites? The tradition is believed to have started with a teacher. He was trying to explain something rising up to students. And so he built a kite and sent it flying into the sky. And then boom, a tradition was born. So now it symbolizes hope, freedom, and rising above. Something a little unexpected in Bermuda for Easter is their breakfast. So they usually celebrate with codfish cakes and hot cross buns. So something sweet and salty. It's also got beach day vibes. So after church and breakfast, families spend the day outside, picnicking, relaxing, flying kites. It's just a full on laid back island energy. And it feels more like a festival with a beach holiday than a traditional Easter. So I think that that's pretty cool. Imagine Easter, but instead of hiding eggs, the entire sky turns into a rainbow of kites. Like, that sounds absolutely wonderful. So I got another good one. Hungary. Hungary's Easter tradition is one of the most surprising, and I think it's a little hilarious tradition that you'll come across. It's a splashing tradition. Yes, really. Like, the main event happens on Easter Monday, and it's called uh, Lokosokodas. So I have no clue if I'm saying that right. Anyways, it happens on Easter Monday. Boys visit girls, family, friends, neighbors, whoever, and they either sprinkle them with water or they straight up just dump water on them. Sometimes it's perfume instead of water, which I think is a little more modern. But the idea around it is that it symbolizes fertility, renewal, and keeping women fresh. So, as a woman, I just find that quite hilarious. And if anybody thinks about dumping a bucket of water on my head or splashing me with water without my consent, we're going to have an Easter massacre on our hands. So, anyways, they even have a pickup line, though, that I read before the splash. So, it's nice that they have, a little consideration here. But boys usually recite a short poem or rhyme and then ask, "May I sprinkle you?" So, spoiler, it's mostly symbolic now, but historically, girls didn't always have much say. So then there's the payback. After getting soaked, girls give decorated eggs. They offer chocolate, drinks, or even a shot of Hungarian liquor. So you get splashed, you get snacks, and everyone wins. But to me, that really seems a little unfair. Anyways, the traditional village style. In smaller towns, it's a whole cultural moment. Girls wear beautiful embroidered dresses, and boys go house to house, kind of like a festive parade, with music and dancing and community vibes. So the old school way, like I said, were buckets or cold water. Like, they literally had no mercy. And the new modern way is light perfume spray. So thankfully, that tradition has changed over the years. I would definitely take some perfume. So now if we move on to France, there is actually a town that makes a giant omelet using thousands of eggs to feed the whole community. Honestly, I'd be game for that. I love omelets. But legend has it that Napoleon Bonaparte was traveling through the region with his army and stopped to eat at a local inn. He loved the omelet so much that he ordered the townspeople to gather all their eggs and make a giant omelet big enough to feed his entire army. And I guess the whole town just said, "Hey, hold my coffee." So now every year around Easter, they recreate it, but on a massive scale. Like, I've read about 15,000 eggs that are cooked in a huge pan that's like 13 feet wide. They stir it with giant paddles and they serve it to thousands of people in the town. Get this, there is even a group called the Brotherhood of the Giant Omelet. It sounds fake, but apparently it's very real. Like, they wear matching outfits, run the event, and they really protect the tradition. That sounds fun. Here's another wild one. In Finland, kids dress up as witches. That's right. For Easter, kids dress up as witches, like full scarves, face paint, the whole thing. They go door to door with decorated branches and they get candy. So it's basically Halloween, but in spring. Somehow it came from some old folklore about witches flying around causing trouble. And now, I guess it's just their adorable chaos on Easter. It really got me thinking, though, how do they celebrate Halloween? That'll be the next thing I research. Moving on, we have Greece. This one I could get down with for about 5 minutes. So in Greece, they throw clay pots out the window to celebrate. Like I said, sounds fun until you realize that you have to clean it up. I have a lot of questions about who signed off on that plan. Like, why? I mean, I'm sure it feels good to smash things, but can you imagine if the whole town threw clay pots out their window, the mess that that would create? I do not want to be a part of that cleanup crew. But from what I can find out, it's basically out with the old and in with the new. Spring cleaning, anyone? All right, let's slow down for a second, because this might be my favorite part. Let's head to Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. Easter there has a very deep, meaningful ceremony. After a long fasting period, families come together, they share food, and the coffee becomes the center of it all. But it's not like our grab and go coffee. It's a full coffee ceremony. Beans are roasted right in front of you. You smell them, you hear them crack, they're ground by hand. They're brewed in a clay pot, and they're served in 3 different rounds, and each round has a meaning. The first is for blessing, the second is for reflection, and the third is for connection. Honestly, that just gives me all the great feels. That's the kind of coffee culture I could fully commit to. Easter coffee, I mean, I kind of do that anyways. It just kind of started to remind me of why I started Coffee Cruise in the first place. Like, yeah, we're driving and sipping coffee, but it's really about slowing down and connecting, but just maybe in a Jeep. Okay, that was fun learning about all the different cultures. But let's get into some fascinating Easter trivia. Did you know that the moon decides the date for Easter? So, unlike most holidays, Easter has no fixed date. They call it the movable feast. It's always falling on the first Sunday after the first full moon, following the spring equinox. This means it can land anywhere between March 22nd and April 25th. And to be honest, I'm shocked that I am 40 years old and just now learning about this. Easter is the second biggest candy selling holiday, trailing only Halloween. Surprised me, I would have thought it would have been Christmas, obviously. The first hollow chocolate egg was created in 1873 by J.S. Fry and Sons in the UK. Before this, chocolate eggs were typically solid and much harder to eat. So thank you, J.S. Fry. Americans eat about 16 billion jelly beans, which blows my mind. I'm actually one of those people who hate jelly beans. There are a million different flavors of jelly beans now, and I still hate every single one of them. And if you like the black jelly beans, something's wrong with you. Now, maybe if they had a coffee jelly bean, which I'm sure they do, I might try that. Nah, I just don't like jelly beans. There are over 1 billion marshmallow peeps that are made every year. And when I was researching this, I found out that the first peep ever made was handmade, and it took 27 hours to make. Like, no way, after 3 hours, I'm giving up. 27 hours? That's dedication. Apparently, 75% of people eat the ears first off of a chocolate bunny. Okay, I'm definitely one of those people, but it made me think of another story. It's very specific, but very real. So, growing up, there was one year during Easter where my parents thought that I was allergic to the dark milk chocolate. And so that year for Easter, I got a white chocolate bunny. If you want to talk about the most pissed off child in the whole world, it was me. To this day, I still hate white chocolate. So parents, do us all a favor. Stick with the dark chocolate. Actually, I'm really kind of curious. Like, that would be a good stat too, right? Like, do most people have white chocolate bunnies? Or do most people do just regular chocolate, dark chocolate? What kind of bunnies in your kids' Easter baskets? Let's talk about the Easter bonnet. That tradition of wearing a new hat or bonnet for Easter was a symbol of renewal and good luck for the coming year. And it became a massive pop culture phenomenon in the 1930s. And when I read about that, it's kind of sending me some traumatic images of me as a 3-year-old wearing a bonnet and crying because I did not want to wear that thing. So thanks, Grandma. It's time for your Coffee Cruise confession. If you had to choose, what's your go-to Easter candy? Are you team chocolate bunnies? Are you jelly beans? Or what about like those mini eggs? Cadbury's? What is it? Or are you just here for the coffee and vibes? Because honestly, same. Okay, that's all I got. I hope you found that as fascinating and as interesting as me. And I'm also curious, when you're driving, do you ever think about these things? Because I have the most random thoughts, but this really helped answer a lot of them. I'm so thankful for technology and ChatGPT. I will tell you though that I definitely did check the facts on this, so you can be confident in knowing that the Easter traditions around the world are very different than what we do here in the US. And it still blows my mind that countries and cultures celebrate so differently. When you grow up a certain way, you don't really stop to think about how other people celebrate. And I think it's beautiful. Um, Everybody knows the real religious reason behind Easter, but where these cultures came up with their traditions is something that's really fascinating to me. And so I hope that you have enjoyed it as well. And if you're new here, welcome. Really appreciate everybody who's been giving us feedback and giving us support. It's pretty amazing because we're already on episode 7. And from what I have read, which was pretty surprising to me, is that the average podcast doesn't make it past 7 episodes. 44% quit after just 3 episodes, and that's huge. And then only 8% make it past episode 10. And I think it just keeps going down and down from there. So I don't know how long this will last, but I am having a great time with this podcast, and I'm excited for future content. I already have a lot of content recorded a lot with family members who are entrepreneurs. I've got several lined up for Behind the Brews, not only coffee shops, but just any other local entrepreneurs. And it's provided a great network opportunity for me. And it's kind of funny too, because, when you look from the outside, people might just think, oh, it's just a podcast, but not for us, not for me especially. It's growth, it's stepping outside our comfort zone. I mean, it's showing up even when you're unsure. It's just moving forward and going after passions and dreams and connecting with people. And that's really what life's about. And I love learning. I am so curious about so many things, and especially how everybody's life can look and be so different, how traditions, how anything can just be um, so different in this world. So it's just choosing to do something creative and fun. It's an outlet for me in the middle of real life, career, kid, responsibilities, all of it. And so we've already learned a lot already, like just going for it, even when it's messy. Just don't overthink every little thing, laugh. And maybe the biggest thing is that you don't have to have everything figured out to start something meaningful. Again, if there's something you want to do in life, I really encourage you to go after it. Don't be scared of failure. That doesn't even exist if you put it out of your mind, because it takes guts to try anything different or new in life. So if you're listening and there's something on your heart, something you've been thinking about starting or doing, trying, this is your sign. Do it messy, do it scared, do it imperfectly, because that's literally what I'm doing. And somehow it's just working for me. And we're just getting started, truly. It's just the beginning of what Coffee Cruise is going to become. There's going to be more conversations, more stories, more guests, more laughs, and probably a little more chaos too. So, thank you for being here with us today. Seriously, thank you for listening, for supporting, for sharing, and for just showing up. It doesn't go unnoticed. Okay, we're going to let you get back to your day, your drive, your walk, your quiet moment, whether you're flying a kite, whether you're having a family feast, maybe blowing up a cart with fireworks, whatever it is that your tradition looks like. I hope you have a very happy Easter. As always, grab your coffee, buckle up, and take the long way. Thanks for cruising with me today. I'll see you at the next stop.
Thanks for riding with us. We'll see you at the next stop.